Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Pew, 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 pew. Welcome everybody to the Carl Weber Show, my second podcast. Welcome. As you know, we discuss everything entertainment, from actors to singers to poets to rappers to b-boys to postmen. Sometimes postmen is very entertaining as well. But tonight we have a living legend in studio on the show with us. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for none other than Mr. Oscar Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. Weber. I like how you say in your thingy there, when it comes up the Weber.
They say that's my real surname. My real surname is Weber.
Yeah, Weber. Yeah.
But everyone's constantly used to Weber.
Yeah. That's a potato.
That's the thing.
Phenomenon. Yeah.
They say I look like a potato, but all right. That's all right, guys. This man has an extensive CV, an extensive resume, accolades, accomplishments. Oscar Peterson, one of South Africa's best actors, writers, directors, and acting coach.
Yes, I do that too sometimes. I don't know if I'm the best, but I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
Not directing so much, but I do like the coaching.
Yep.
Part, yeah. The empowerment part, seeing the light bulb go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously you well, I don't say you because most South Africans know you for the role of Boeta Joe.
That's correct.
Joe Barber. We all know people reenact it. They try and nail it. I've tried it a couple of times, and it's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah,
right?
It's not. But it's amazing what it inspires in people, though. Yeah. You know, when we first started out, so 3 years into it, people started showing us what they come up with. You know, came up with. I remember one of my best friends. He used to take a bath. He used to stay with at his mother's. And him and his brother used to share the toilet at the same time. One is sitting, the other one's having a bath. And they used to do this thing, Boeta Cliffy and Boeta Eddie and Boeta Cliffy. You know, and then they'd speak like Boeta Joan, Boeta Gamat in the bathroom the entire time they're there. Yeah. So, and the stuff they used to come up with, it's very funny. So, yeah.
I want to get into, later on, the makings of the show, the origins of the characters and all of that. But I need to obviously give you your props first. I mean, for co-creating, Joe Barber. Graduated from UCT with a performance diploma in speech and drama, 91 to 93. Then you went on to become a lecturer at UCT as well.
Yes, it's more, they'd call it a tutor, because to be a lecturer, you'd have to have some kind of degree or something, and I don't have one. Yeah. But I suppose it's... tutoring or lecturing,
Yeah, and then also at Stellenbosch University?
I did that also, in 2002, 3, around there. Yeah. It was very tiring, and I decided maybe that's the avenue for me.
Nice. Well, I mean, like, really, you've done a lot in theatre. I mean, also, like, I remember from way back in the day, Tussen Duivels. Your character was?
Duiltje, yeah. Groot Duil. As Christo Davids would insist.
Yes, Christo.
Yeah, Christo was the little Duil. Yeah, he would always say, Christo would say that he is the reason why I'm in the industry. Yeah. Because he was little Duil. Yeah. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be Big Duil.
So there you go. So there you gave birth to the character.
And
then obviously you played Groot Duil. And then if there was a character that was, maybe that character got older, Groot Duil got older, he would have become Duil Adop or something. Duil Pizza of Itzazai, you know. But I mean, you did Tussen Duivels, also Sape.
Yes,
that was.
Co-wrote that, yeah, also.
And you know what I love about this? Because I want to get into it a bit. You co-wrote it with Heinrich.
Yeah, back in the day.
Heinrich Reisnoffer.
Yeah.
And that is all about the DOP system,
yes,
which is a reality. So can you tell us a little bit, going to detail about that?
Back in those days, so it started as a student production at the university. And what happened is I played the lead the part that Ivan Abrams eventually played. So that what happened myself and Heinrich went on to the streets of Cape Town. It was more, he was fascinated because he came from Joburg, fascinated with the people of Cape Town. And he met some people just walking around, roaming on the streets and so on. And then when we met at Varsity, he asked me if I'd be interested in doing it with him. So we started this thing in our first year. The holidays, when everybody else was having a holiday, we were actually working already on the streets, meeting people and seeing what they're up to and just getting an understanding of why these things are like they are. Because, you just notice people, they like the furniture of a place. You don't really notice the furniture because you just see it there. And then when you look a bit closer, then you find out there's a whole story, and everybody's got a story there, And so, that gave rise. And, David Isaacs was there, Odia Sampson was there at Varsity. Some of the other guys, James Rubenheimer, some names I've forgotten already. And this was an improvised production. Where we went onto the streets and we actually just picked up all the vibes and we transposed it into a story. So the story, basic one was, we're going to tell you the history as Bergies. We're going to tell you the history of Cape Town through us, through the history, but you need to give us a top, and then we'll entertain you, and then it just spins out. So we go back to, the days when Jan van Riebeeck came, and basically taking a look at how this came to be a system. The top became a system. So it was a lot of fun working on it.
And it's a true story. I mean, the dope system, up until 3 years into my comedy career, I was getting paid by the dope system.
Yeah.
And I miss those days. Now, Joe, I don't miss it. But I mean, I've touched on that as well.
Yeah.
I'm 46 years old now, so I think we are the last generation to touch both sides of apartheid.
Right.
So I think we are old enough to remember some of the incidences.
Right.
And I mean, so I'm thinking about the show SAPE. It's got a darker undertone if you really know the story. Which therein lies the message of what. So alcoholism was almost bred into the people all the time, which is sad. It's very sad.
Yeah, you see, it's the. I always try and imagine what it was like for the people who came here, and allowed that to happen, or engineered that to happen. What was going on in their minds, and why did they? Why did they allow it to get to that degree?
Yeah.
And then, what were the remedies that we had along the way to try and fix this problem? Because I mean, how do you even know it's a problem?
That's the thing.
If you just indulge in this thing that you're completely addicted to,
because you're so deep in it, you can't see it as the problem.
No, it's giving you bliss. You're in a blissful state when you're there.
Which is the same. Sorry to break you. It's the same thing that happened to the American Indians.
I was
same
just
thing
going to
happened.
say that, Carl.
Same thing happened to them. Fire, water, and whatever. In New Zealand, it happened with the Maoris as well, where they became alcoholics through this whole system.
Yeah. See, I mean, to a large part, I mean, I'm not conclusive about these ideas. It's just spinning around in my head because, you just have to wonder why. That type of weapon, it's like a weapon.
It is.
Taking advantage of people's weaknesses.
Yeah.
Or, I walk into a shop and I stand in a queue and there's all these eateries and things on either side of me wrapped in beautiful bright colored papers. And I go, these fuckers, sorry, we're not allowed to swear. They're taking advantage of our weaknesses.
I'm also going to swear.
And when I'll stop swearing soon. I'll stop swearing soon.
But it's true.
And you go. I go. How is this different? It's a minute little thing, but it's people take advantage. A good weapon.
Yeah, as chemical warfare.
Yes.
Basically.
Absolutely.
And if you want to talk about spirits, it can also be spiritual warfare.
Oh,
You know what I'm
beautifully
saying?
put, Mr. Carl.
Because that's what they say. That
Mr.
is why
Weaver.
they say they call alcohol spirits. It's like pouring spirits
Yes.
into you,
It is.
and that spirits take over you.
Yeah, that bliss.
Yeah.
That becomes, just turns. Yeah.
You're not a drinker yourself.
No, I stopped.
Yeah.
I stopped. It was one of my best friends' wedding. They both my best friends. His brother was still alive then, and I hadn't had a drink for a long time. And I got to the wedding, and there was no drink at the wedding inside the hall, but there were people outside, doing the boot thing. And
The car bar.
I started drinking, and because I hadn't, when you've left something for a while and you take it up again.
I fat you.
Yeah, but you think you still, no, I can drink a tot like that. I think I had 3 tots, and I was like, what is going on? I'm gone already, and I'm still supposed to do a speech. I did the speech, did all right and whatnot, and but afterwards, when we went home, okay, first of all, they took the car away, can't drive. Somebody else drove it. And I got to my best friend's house. And I puked all over his house.
Yeah.
So after that, I was like, I didn't even drink before. What the hell is going on? So at some point later on, I decided, don't drink that much anyway. Wouldn't it be lekker just to say to someone, sorry, I don't drink. That was as simple as that.
Yeah, I think sometimes it takes those kind of measures to make you realize, hey, I don't think this is for me. But I was speaking about this whole production tape. It was in 1999.
No, it was 1993.
Wow,
Yeah, 1999
was
was
when
the
you won-
professional version of it.
Oh, and then you won. You guys won the Fleur Cap award.
Yes, we won the
Okay.
awards for that. They made up some awards for it and gave us the awards.
Oh, wait,
It's hanging there by my mother's house, I
Nice.
think.
Nice. So it was a year before we were liberated, basically.
Right.
Wow.
Right, a year before. And we took that production as students. David Isaacs was in the original, eh?
Yeah.
He was the musical director. He did the soundtrack, because there's a soundtrack while the play is going on. It was David Isaacs. I mentioned a few names before, but it was such a delight to do that show as students that later on, when there was some interest about doing it again, mostly Heinrich thought it would be best to get professional actors to do it. Because we were too young to play it was a good exercise as youngsters, as students, but it deserved a proper professional crowd.
So just going back to Tussen Devils, that was also
That was 1996, if I'm not wrong. 96, yeah.
and it was very true to. So it was actually set. What was that? That was set in the 70s.
Yes, it's late 60s.
Yeah.
At around about the time when the last houses were going there in District 6, when they were bulldozing them. So yeah, it could have been early 70s also. But it's sort of the way they filmed it, they made you, it's a dream time. It's a dream time, but it's got its foot dipped in reality. Written by a guy called Paul C. Venter.
Yeah.
I think he's still alive. Not 100% sure. But yeah, so it's about District 6. And just a slice of life of a family that was living there, and things that happened to that family that you can sort of link to the ideas of apartheid.
So I was working it out in my head when Tussen Devils was shot. It's a period piece, right? Going back to time. So usually period pieces go way back. It's not usually so close to the actual period. And it was if you're looking at early 90s, it was still very controversial to be doing something like that.
Yes, absolutely. You look at shortly after 94.
Yeah.
It's still, in terms of because Paul C. Venter was an Afrikaner, obviously fascinated by the stories of District 6 and, wanted to insert his sort of consciousness about what possibly could have happened with people there. And then us playing those roles and adding our experiences and our sort of dreams and projecting our sort of mindset into it as well.
Yeah. Because you're essentially telling your parents' story. Because it wasn't that long ago.
Exactly.
You're telling their story.
Yes. And I think what was clever about it is the way that they filmed it, because it was sort of a haze in it.
Yeah,
and that
I
haze is
remember.
like, it has that element of it's a memory.
Yes.
And it's a time gone by, and it's almost timeless.
It's not, thinking back on it now, it's not a bright production, sunny.
No.
It's got this gloominess to
No.
it.
I think people were also ready at that time for a bit of sort of something about themselves that is real, authentic, and then can hit a nerve,
There was an undertone of fear throughout that whole series, like always nervous, always scared. Yeah, you could be bored. And it's such like, I remember watching it with my mom and they would say, yeah, it was like that. I mean, that was when they were kids, teenagers coming up, and they said it was exactly like that.
Yeah, I mean, I remember as a child, just with my dad, waiting at Fishhook Station, because there's no taxis or buses, for some kind of form of transport to get us home, with the police station being right across there.
Before took up the...
And it's just like, we can't go home, and the police station is right there. They're going to say, what are you doing so late on the street here? Either way, you're in the kak.
Yeah. It's curfew. You don't pass and all of that. And then also you were nominated 1997 for an Avante Award as Best Actor in Television Drama.
Was I?
Yes, you were, sir. I'm looking at your bio right now. And yes, you were for a Florida Cup in 2005 for Joe Barber 3.
I remember that.
And in 2007, he shared the Skouwer Club Award for the St. Westerfeest with David Isaacs.
Yeah.
Ek ken meneer. Don't try and deny your accolades.
No, I mean, it's all good. It's nice when people recognize what it is you do.
Must.
Yeah.
You must.
But,
do you remember that award?
which one?
Avante?
No, I remember I didn't get it.
Oh, you were nominated.
I was nominated.
Yeah.
I didn't get it, but I remember what happened because of it. The people who were sitting behind making the decision as to who to get it. One of the ladies there went, I want to use this guy in something. I know he's not getting it. She voted for me, and somebody else voted for somebody. And I actually got a movie because of played a lead in the movie because of that.
Yeah.
Because of that award that I didn't, because of the fact that I didn't get the award.
Yeah. Is that the overseas movie?
That's the one where I played Valentine in.
Part of Sharon in a British South African co-production?
Yeah.
With
No,
Titus?
that was 95.
That wasn't that. Yeah.
That was 95.
So this lady was very, I mean, she kind of constructed in such a way that getting the nomination would get you the part.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, for me nowadays, a nomination's as good as getting the award.
Exactly. Because I mean, it's these things are preference based,
Yeah.
and I don't tell people against it.
Yeah.
But I don't take it personal.
Yeah. It's,
Personally.
yeah. Is it ever really truly the best actor, the best? That's
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Also, you've got a list of movies here. Films include The Quarry, Now or Never, Triumph, Zulu, Cold Harbor, Black Southeaster, Tess, Tremors 6, Fracked. What is Fracked? I want to watch Fracked. Oh my, Fracked.
It's about fracking in the Karoo.
Ek het amper gefrak, my bro. Ek het amper gefrak. My Karoo.
Yeah.
I was fracking, looking for oil, obviously.
Yeah, looking for.
And it was frack coat.
Hey,
It was.
talk about it. It was
Can you
frack out
imagine?
there.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So the bulk of your career wasn't, as people would assume, in a comedy acting. It wasn't comedy acting.
No.
The bulk of your career.
No. But here's a little spin on it if you want, if you care to ever thought about this. I read some of the people that I admire as older or people who came before us that were very exceptional at comedy. most of those people, if you look at them, I consider Spike Mulligan the funniest man that ever lived. But he was a tortured soul because of the war. So a lot of great comedy comes from great pain.
True.
Yeah.
They say William Shakespeare said, "Out of tragedy, comedy is born."
That's why the symbol is one.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's
Two
true.
faces,
There we
but it's
go.
one.
Dazzle.
Can I just ask you something?
Yes.
So we had Yoda Sanson here a couple of weeks ago, and she spoke when you guys were in you got a Bercy or something like that, and you had to walk 4 hours. You had to walk 4 hours to get to your classes. Tell me, with that experience, and you just said about your father, by the Fisher, in Fisher and in Ocean View, as quite a distance.
Yeah.
Did that experiences spark you to become conscious? Because al jou werk is consciousness. Even Joe Barber, want om die waarheid te sê, die eerste keer wat ek Joe Barber hoor sien, toe dink ek, ag, dis maar net over die ouens wat gat van ons culture weer man. Maar as een line wat jy gesê het, Pieter Marais, hy apologize.
Yeah.
Toe check ek, this is not just this is
No,
not just that.
yeah.
But no, is it just your experiences that made you conscious? Van jou acting is nie net entertainment, it is you teaching. But is it net die project wat na jou toe kom het, that gravitated to you, or did you go look for that basically?
Yeah. I was very angry as a young man. I'll give you an example. So I refused to get into a taxi after an incident that happened. It was an accident, almost an accident. The taxi driver stopped, dead stop, and I banged my head against something. That was the first time. Then there was a next incident, and I just went, I'm gonna die in one of these things. I feel powerless. So I'm not gonna do it anymore. I'm not getting into a taxi. So I stopped getting into taxis. I don't care if I'm gonna be late for whatever. I will hike or I'll get up 5 hours before the time. This is where it comes in. I will get up 4 hours, give myself enough time to get somewhere. But I'm going to throw the thumb and get to what other thing I can get, I will get. So this continued, but it was difficult. Because, not just sometimes you get a lift, sometimes you don't get a lift. Sometimes you get a lift and the person giving you a lift is crazy. They want to kill you or they want to, get something from you. So there was an element of danger with that too. But it was still better for me sitting, feeling powerless, because taking a hiking is still me choosing to get into a car. It's still me choosing. It's not like when somebody else is driving and they drive like they want to, do what they want to. So what's that feeling. So some of the people around me, people who were interested in me and seeing that I do well, saw that I was having this problem with the transport, and somebody offered me a bicycle. So I didn't even think of that. So this is a fantastic idea. So now I don't have to wait. I can start walking. This was my thing when I got out of Ocean View. I started walking. I didn't wait. Here comes a bus or here comes I started walking and hiking, because, going forward. Anyway, so when Yodia told that story, she's absolutely right about me having made a decision and sticking to it. So when I got to the university and I learned the things I learned there, I've already spent 4 years doing children's theatre. And there I also felt like I'm going to get stuck here if I don't move, But when I got to the university, I had a good idea of what I wanted and what I didn't want.
Yeah.
So I took full advantage, and when I learned full advantage of the stuff that was happening at the university, the stuff that we were taught. So I got the full benefits out of all of the things we learned there. And it was such an empowering experience that I went, wait, hold on. All my life, academia and at school, people were telling me how I am or how I'm supposed to be. when is it my turn to tell them, hey, if you, man, this is how I am. This is how, this is how I am, and this is how I want to be. Why am I always wrong? Yeah. That was basically the question. Why am I wrong? Why is everything all my endeavors on anything is, you come from a point of view wrong.
Yeah.
And the thing was just, how can I be Afrikaans and fail? How can I be born Afrikaans and fail? I mean, that should be illegal. You know what I mean? So that anger was brewing inside me about, why am I living in a world where who I am is devalued? Yeah. It doesn't have any value. And so I separated myself from people that had that attitude about me. It's like when people look down on me for not wanting to get into a taxi or not wanting to get into third class on the platform. Like I'm holding myself up to something. It wasn't that.
Yeah.
It wasn't that I believed I was better than them. It's a choice that I made to envision and a vision that I have for myself, So, and I kept it up. I kept it up because that's the only thing I had. What else do you have? I mean, what else do you have? Yeah. You just have this mind and your experiences, and that propels you into something that you can build for yourself on, something you can build on. Anyway, that was and so when it came to the theater part of it, what are you going to do about the theater? That all got to do with that identity thing of who am I and who are you telling me to be? Why do you talk to me like I'm,
And this
it started like that. That's the analogy I use.
I know it so well. So now that I've started going for castings, I'm actually even too shy to, because I don't want to say in front of Oscar that I'm an actor. I'm not an actor. I'm sitting next to.
Yes, you are an actor. You are an actor. I'm gonna demystify that for you. Just
no,
now.
Man. But the thing is, just like I go to castings and they tell me, okay, so it's a colored role. So okay, just do the lines, and I'm like, yeah. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna go over here, and then we're gonna do. No. Can you maybe?
Yes.
Make it. Can you just make it maybe? I say, well, a little more color. I said, this is how I speak. Yeah, but we want you to. Yeah, can we go over here? I'm like, that sounds like a crazy person. No one speaks like that.
Yeah.
And
you understand.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting. Whenever you offer any semblance of sophistication, it gets, what's that?
Yeah.
That was my problem. I mean, not all people are. There's various degrees of colored people with various different experiences. Sure. If you're from the outside and you haven't looked closer, that's all you're going to hear. Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah.
So, and unfortunately, the advertisers kept that going.
So everyone gets painted with the same brush?
Yes.
There are so many different degrees of colored people. You are absolutely right. Right? And I see it also now with my castings, because I walk into, not even with castings, I walk into wherever, and there's a white guy that turns around and says to me, hey, Zai. And I keep a straight for you, like, lucky. Excuse me, what are you doing? Zai. I was like, excuse me, sir, I will not have this. Unhand me, sport of Satan. And I've also decided, like, one of my last show was called Unapologetically Carl Weber.
I saw that, but I never saw the show.
And you know why I called it Unapologetic? Because Peter Barre, he doesn't apologize. Exactly. I remember that line so clearly.
Yeah.
That changed my mind.
Okay, great. Because, I mean, the process of getting to that place, right? I mean, especially when you're thinking of a position of looking down on someone. I'm not ashamed of anybody.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed of Peter Marie.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed of, people that have come before us. My grandparents weren't educated. How can I be ashamed of them? So, and how can I not celebrate them?
Sure.
I mean, and how can I not acknowledge that I come from there? I mean,
I think the difference also is between people saying another race saying Jay Joe, whatever. When you do Joe Barber, that is Uncle Mickey. I know Uncle Mickey, like you know what I'm saying. That reminds me how funny he is. So it sounds like somebody I know, but there's authenticity that it comes from a caring place. It doesn't come from a malice place. You know what I'm saying, and that is the difference. I think that they sometimes don't understand. But I'm reminded of a Trevor Noah joke where he says Trevor, and then they understand it. So sometimes it's not that they're mocking us. It's they feel they want to talk like us, but we feel it's like a dagger, man.
Yes.
Nee, man,
Yes.
Like the ways they represent it.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like when a white person says nigger, it's not the same as when a black person says nigger.
And you know what? We are also guilty of it. Because a lot of colored people will pull up at a petrol station and say, "Hey, Booty, can you just throw in a 50? What are we doing?" I cringe.
No,
I cringe.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
And then you'll say, "Sorry, sir, was that a 50 rand that you wanted?" Yes, sir.
50 Rand petroleum.
Yeah. Petroleum, would you like some petroleum? Yeah. And you know, I don't know. For me, it's just like condescending.
Yes. No, absolutely. And we ought to stop doing it, yeah.
We should stop.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if I've ever done that, but and it's not denial, eh? But yeah, maybe when I was very young and I didn't understand it. But I mean, you imagine what I was feeling like for that person.
Exactly.
Yeah?
So there was an ad on TV way back. It's the only black guy at the party, dinner party. Very sophisticated white people, and it's like, this is my friend here. His name is Jeremy, and this is Timothy. And then the lady goes to the black guy. How do you say your name again? And then he says, John. That's how you say it.
Nice one.
So so I've also experienced that, and I guess we also get, because some of our people are also guilty of doing that.
Yes.
And I hate it, so I will never do it to the next person.
Yeah.
You know.
I remember when I was at varsity, one of the times I worked a lot with anger, stored anger, I suppose. We were in a session. One of these improv sessions with one of the top lecturers at varsity back in the day. And there's a black student. He begins to explain something. Because they're asking, the lecturer is asking questions. But now, in those improv sessions, you sit in a circle and anybody can chip in. There's no rules. There's basic rules of respect, but, anything goes. So every second word he's trying to utter, some white person in the thing is telling him, oh, you mean that? Oh, you mean? Won't I, in the middle, like say, vier spreekbeurte in, I just lose my shit. Can you just even shut the F in the session? And that's the room like this. Even I was surprised what that came out of me. He's trying to talk, and you people keep interrupting him. If you just keep quiet and listen, maybe you can learn something from the man.
Yeah.
And he looked at me like this. He was like,
that is pent up aggression. That is, it's not in that. It didn't just happen in that moment. That has been coming on for a while.
Yeah. And I mean, come on now. He's not English speaking.
Yeah.
He's learned to English. Look at us also. We, some of the languages we'd had to learn.
Exactly.
Come on.
True.
So give the guy a chance. Give him his version of what he's trying to say, rather than you trying to tell him this is how you must say it.
He's not speaking his mother's tongue. So,
no. Yeah.
It's a second language, so yeah. But then also you've done a lot of TV series, right? You were acting coach in St. Worcester?
Yes, I was.
As well.
I quite enjoyed that.
Vloekstein. When was that?
Vloekstein was, 2009, around there, 2010 maybe. That was very interesting there.
The Bail,
that was more or less the same type of, same conglomerate of people that did it, similar.
Yeah, the Bail. I feel like it should be like a subtitle, The Bail Hearing. Is your bail hearing now? Come now. Then you also had Traffic, Zuidooster,
Yeah, that was
die
fun.
Boland moorde.
Yeah, that was also fun. Oh, all of those things were fun. A lot of fun to do, yeah.
Tell me a bit about this character, Slappy.
Oh, Slappy was...
Slappy was in Swartwater.
Swartwater, that's right, yeah. So it was actually me replacing somebody else that couldn't do the show.
Is it?
Yeah, so it was a character established already in the first series.
Yeah.
And he couldn't do it anymore, whatever the case was. And they asked me to do the version of the character. And he's basically a cowardly type of thug
Yeah.
that that's willing to do... is really cowardly. That's willing to do a minimal work
Yeah, for maximum.
for maximum outcome, yeah, and just live under this guise of that he is something, but he's really not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been working my way towards this next line of questioning, or just the one. Just going through all your the roles that you've played, all the movies you've been in, and then also the series. There was one that stood out for me, which was, I think, one of your most aggressive roles in Nomiskoli.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that took you to a very out of body experience. Almost, you had to go there, and that is where I admire actors for. Before I go there, I was the landlord on Nomiskoli, and I had to put out Daniel Cantona, right?
Yes.
I had to put him out of the house. And I did it. It was a nice scene. It was a little roughing him up, throwing him with water, like just being a little
remember, yeah.
mean guy. And
Good job.
yeah, and then the backlash I got on social media. People say, hoe durf jy? Hoe durf jy die kind op die straat sit? One lady even said, hoeveel is die rentgeld? Sê vir my, ek sal het betaal. And people, I mean, they went all out, you know.
Yeah.
You get that?
Yes,
Do you
I-
get that?
No, for some reason I got a whole bunch of admiration.
Yeah,
Oh, people did say that they were scared. It was a scary part.
it was.
I have to admit, although there are people that sort of do this thing, yeah, Jay was on Beskov and I moving now. From a distance, I do get a lot of sort of, people are quite nice to me.
Yeah.
They say nice things. They said, oh, good work. You did there or what?
But also, Oscar, you were a very approachable person.
Oh, you think so?
I know you for a good few years now. And you are. I was very intimidated the first time I met you because you are Budak Joe. You know? And then later on, when I got to know you better, and I then got to know your full arsenal of the body of work that you've done. It is intimidating being around someone that accomplished, but then also countering that with the person that I've gotten to know. You are the nicest person. You are very approachable.
Oh, okay. Okay, maybe it's that then.
Then do you get people to say,
Yeah.
"Kom, doen gou vir my." Oh, Buta.
My wife
Oh,
says
Buta Joe.
it's because I don't know how to say no.
Ah,
But I told her, no, I don't think that's what's going on. And then I had to sit to think about that because I almost felt like I was being defensive. And I was like, am I defensive? And I realized, she said, no, I'm not.
yeah.
It's just, I am so curious. Because bang, ek mis uit. And people ask me, why are you friends with that one? I can't help myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because
But
interesting is interesting.
back to that role. I mean, the preparation for that playing that role,
Yeah.
which is the furthest thing from the person that you are. You're an actor, you're a professional, so you get into that mindset.
Yeah, that one was so the producer called me up and said, Oscar, I really like you to play this part. You know, she said, there is nobody else to play this part but you. And I said to her, come on, I've seen those lines. There's nobody else willing to play this part.
Yeah.
That's what you mean, nah? She said, no. So I didn't believe her. And then only after I'd shot it, like 4 years later, somebody told me, no, the writer suggested Oscar play that part because apparently I also looked like the original
Yeah.
guy who did it,
Yeah.
who that story is about. So I went, oh, okay, I'll
Yeah.
take that for that. But Joshua was very good.
Yeah.
Joshua was
Yeah,
the
of
guy.
course.
He's, I mean, we've been used to working on projects that there's some kind of compromise involved as to how authentic can you be. There's no such thing. Authentic, are they authentic or not? But how can we jippo this so it's still friendly, or it's still, don't show us completely as we are. Just a little, just soften it on the edges.
Yeah.
And he wasn't interested in it. Josh was, show us. This is how it is. Just be gentle and kind to the people you're working with.
Yeah, sure.
That's all. So, yeah. So
Was that the furthest that you've ever been away from Buddha Joe versus that? That is the furthest on the spectrum of acting, from this comedy, lovable uncle Buddha Joe to this uncle.
I have done it, I've done stuff on stage already.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is similar, or have gone a little bit further than that maybe, but on screen and public, no.
Yeah. So that, for me, that is just like a point of admiration where someone can be on this end of the spectrum and you range all the way over.
Yeah.
So that is something commendable.
Oh, wow.
You know. So props to you about that. So that is all your accolades and stuff. Ek is klaar met die accolades. So,
Maak maar moeg, ne?
Ja, no.
Accolades maak jou moeg, ne?
also, I've seen you in the role of a acting coach, and you are very patient, baie geduldig. Like for someone like me that don't come, I deliver my lines. Hey, wat maak jy daar? Yo, donor. You know, and just to get some, the hardest thing is to deliver a line naturally.
Yeah, that is the truth.
So doing what we're doing now, this
Yeah.
is natural.
Yeah.
So if I had to have all these words written down, everything I've been saying now, and they tell me, do it like you're doing it now.
So there's a phenomenon that directors project onto actors, and it comes in the following words. They say, make it your own.
Yeah.
That is not like when you say certain word associations, certain words are associated with something.
Yeah.
And so it loses the meaning of the word. I can't think of an example now, but so that has become an example of when you say that, immediately people don't know what you're talking about, or they can't get it. So I know that. I know because when somebody says make it your own, because it's not my own. Come on, I'm not that guy that you're trying to be, that you're asking me to be. So first of all, I'm not that guy, and I wouldn't say it like that.
Yeah.
So when you understand that, you know what to say to the person to make it sound like it's their own.
Sure.
Because the one thing I did realize is a pattern of words in a sentence is how a writer puts it, but it's still a thought. And if you get the thought, you know what to do with it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Would you then say it's like songwriter? The words are beautiful, but until you hear the combination of the melody, the singer, everything,
And the singer putting it in there.
then it becomes amazing, like next level.
Next level. Next
Yeah.
level.
That is
Yeah.
something else. So yes, Nanto?
I've got a question. So, just getting back to your role in Noem My Score, that scene is filthy around you, what I can remember, but it's like this person is not the character is not just dirty outside. The look on your face is of this. He's not a good person, and obviously a moseklom negativity op him, and then you do the act and whatever. How do you pull off just the first few seconds where the viewer can? I mean, hoe lang het ek langs my movie gekyk? But I can still see that first 3 seconds where this is a bad guy. This is and again, ek het al sulke mense gesien al, man.
Jy het al sulke mense gesien al sien. Now I've also seen them.
Yeah.
But how do you capture that, man?
It's like when you look at somebody like that, and they're looking at you, and they say something to you, your defense match. When your defense match, you know you're there.
Sure.
That's how you know you're there.
Your energy meets their energy.
Your energy meets that energy, but you don't do what they do. You see, but your defense will force you to defend. That's how you know. It's like when the OC says, "I'm gonna stab you," and he misses. You know what I'm saying? Say, Mas, if you know, it's the response. So you don't have to be the person doing it, but you can defend. It's the same thing that you say when you say something doesn't exist, you give it existence by saying it doesn't exist.
Sure.
That's how I look at
deep.
it. That's how,
That's
but
deep.
So that's just defense.
I like that energy matching energy. Because you know what? In life, if someone comes up to you with brutal aggression, if you don't come back with that same brutal aggression, just climb me, bro.
Exactly. So defense.
Yeah.
That's it. So you're not the guy, you're not a perpetrator.
Yeah.
But if you ask to defend, it's like your children or, you know, your loved ones. Somebody try to hurt them, what will you do?
Jy moet jou malo.
So don't ever say, ek ken myself. Jy ken yourself.
Until you're in that
The
situation.
situation maak vir jou wie jy is.
Sure.
Oh.
So we got Craig Ogle. This man is a living legend. Thank you, sir. What about Oscar? I'm joking.
Always sharp, eh?
Superb storyteller. Is that L'Oreal Ferris?
Yeah,
really
it's like
love, really love this guy. I think that's what he said. John Domingo.
Yeah,
Huge
my
respect
favorite.
for this brother, and he exists
One
and
of my
continues to
favorite
grow.
ladies. Yeah.
Thank you for all the love, guys. Appreciate it. Such a huge fan. Wafika Osman, Granville Michaels. Thank you for that. Through this interview, you are instilling values in many, too many.
Wow.
Thank you very much, Karen Peters. Hot. Thank you for the engagement, guys.
So, baie ander questions on socials, but try to get there. But
All right, cool. Then also, so that was like your body of work that we discussed. I want to get to know Oscar Peterson growing up in Ocean View, because you know I didn't grow up. I lived in Ocean View as well. And
Really?
he was born in Ocean View.
for 3 years, I
Was the-
left when I was 3 years.
I-
And weirdly enough, I had boys because my son, I say brasses na Raikante, and they came for the holidays.
Yeah.
So it's weirdly how Ocean View is just in my circle for
Yeah.
the past 2 weeks already.
I was there today. It's just such a beautiful place.
Yeah.
And today the sun was shining in exactly the same way as I remember it
Yeah.
in 1976, 77.
Sure.
When the trees and the light, I was saying to the lady in the car, wow, I'm getting memories here of how
Nostalgia.
beautiful Ocean used to be. And I suddenly got so hopeful. Yeah, any rate.
Nice.
Let's see what we can do about that.
Yeah, nice. But I mean, so I lived in Ocean View for a while as well. He left Ocean View. I put him out of Ocean View. I said, leave.
He was 3. It
Was
is
het twee? I said, ons is twee groot ouens.
Vat jou neppie en wy.
But I mean, even on stage, you delve into Ocean View, and I can hear the way you talk about it. It's very close to your heart. You still have family in Ocean View.
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do have cousins, uncle and aunt still. Yeah. Yeah, very good people.
I mean, I remember living in Ocean View, and it's like a world on its own.
It is.
It truly is a world on its own.
It is. It's very unique. So we were saying, growing up there, that's the one thing the people of Ocean View can relate to. Is every single person they meet, they know they are unique.
Yeah.
You can't cluster people and go.
And do they still do that? They still do that.
They
love
animated.
that.
They
Yeah.
storytellers. They're storytellers and they're very dramatic there in Ocean View. So yeah.
But I mean, like, so also I wanted to ask you about where the origin of Joe Barber. Where did that come from? Because I know people want to know.
Yeah.
I remember you telling a story, but I want you to tell it.
So I was staying at David's parents' house, and David kept, because he was still at varsity. Yeah, I was doing his last year, and he mentioned the barber because David every 2 weeks or 3 weeks David has to have his hair cut. That was his thing, and I have my mother was a hairdresser. And my uncle is a barber. Well, he's passed now, but he's a well-known barber from Ocean View, Mr. Herman.
Okay.
Everybody in Ocean View knows this man, Uncle Sonny Herman. So that's where the Joe Barber laugh comes from, by the way.
Okay.
But he, so David kept telling me when he comes back from the barber, yeah, you must hear what Joe said now this time. Yeah, this and that. And then. Jy moet saam met my kom. Ek sê, ja, ek ken Babas, man. Ek is boring goed, man. Anyway, so what happened is we were partying. So he said, I want to do something with Joe Baba. Let's make a movie or something. He always used to just say, it's basically David's. It came out of David's desire to do something about Joe Baba. Because he found that Baba very fascinating. That particular man, Joseph Swain. And so we were partying. It was after varsity. He'd already graduated. We were talking a lot about the Baba still. And we went and watched the Graham Weir. I don't know if you remember, fantastic actor, best actor in South Africa as far as I was concerned back in the day. He was doing a one-man show at Skokejan, which is a bar, theater bar. And when we've done there, we spoke to the owner, Dion Gous. Charles Fourie was also an owner there. But Dion was just saying, is it? Yeah, so when are you guys going to do a show here? I bet you can't do a show. It was like, come on, Dion, man. We trained you and your wife, because his wife was in David's class at varsity. We all trained to do this. We can do this. We can pull it out of our bums, man. Don't. Nah, you can't do a show. Say, can't do a show. Stop talking about that. That's not a question. So I said, no, come do something here. I said, what are we going to do here? This place is too small. No, do something small. Yeah, in that thingy. Okay, so like when? I'm sitting here talking. So David saw me talking here about somebody. And he said, I've got us opening on the 9th of October. It's like 3 weeks from now, 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now. Bet you can't do a show in 2 weeks? I said, can, man. So I said, David, where are we? Theo said, yeah, we can do a show. Let's do a show. So I just shake. Cup off, shake. Cup off, okay. The 9th of October, we'll be back here. We'll do the show. And that's how that. So we didn't know what we were going to do yet. And on our way back, David remembers this. I don't remember, but I'm trying. I've got something tingling in my head about that moment. But he said when we drove back, we came to under the bridge there by Lansdowne. Just before the Lansdowne turn off, on our way back to Parkwood. He said, he said, let's do it. I said, let's do your Joe Baba thing. Yes, let's do the Joe Baba. And that was it.
From humble beginnings, and look what it's achieved.
Yeah.
So I know. So Buddha Joe is an actual person.
Well, it is based on an actual person. Yeah.
And then Buddha Hamad.
The Hamad also.
Is it?
Yeah,
as well.
He was so David and I was doing school tours at with a company called Cape Heart.
Yeah.
That's Ivan Abrams. It's die voorgeskrewe boeke. But you know, you turn
Lees was jou sinds
And there was a guy so we did school tours and we did Platteland. So he was the driver. This Buddha Hamad was the driver. He's an ex-taxi driver. He was the driver of the thing. He had this funny thing where his neck, he had a few vertebrae in his neck were fused. So he had to talk like, you know, so when he was driving when he's driving, he'd like to look at the people he's talking to, but now he's driving. Then you say, Buddha Hamad gestaan, miskien 'n bietjie boeba gedrink by die huis. What? And he looks like this and his people are like, kyk voor jou man, kyk voor jou.
I mean, you know, I left this part of the interview for last because I know people waiting. They're waiting for that Buddha Joe, Buddha Hamad. And it's such a beauty. I've heard that story before. And I always think like, it just takes someone to say, come show me you do it. What? I got to do then you do it, you know. And it goes into something amazing. Buddha Hamad, Buddha Joe, there's other characters like Ochi. Ochi, I'm also sure people know some. We all know Ochi.
Yeah.
You know, Washila, we know these people.
Yeah. I grew in Ocean View. I grew up with some fantastic people. When we were kids, we didn't have, all these distractions that are around nowadays. We didn't even have TV yet. TV just came out. So your imagination floated on other platforms, you know. So we used to have a thing after school. You find your friends, you know. You finished, you had your piece of bread and whatever. You find your friends outside. And most of our friends, because Ocean was very small back then, we go play in the bush, a little bit in the mountain there. you know, and then you go on some kind of an adventure. I mean, we didn't call it adventures then. We didn't know they were adventures. That was just our playground, you know. And but each person, you know, if somebody closed your eyes and you asked, maak 'n geluid of loop, you would know who it was.
Yeah.
You know, that's how unique children were with one another.
Yeah.
And I remember I had a bunch of friends. This all came from my cousins, Chris, Errol, Raja of Lola. And the people we played with in their blokker after school and also on weekends. Hansi, Kat, you know, names like that, Michael. Just see the pictures of them all.
There was always a Bola also. Bola, come on.
Yeah.
Always.
Panti, the older ones, Alec. It's just, so, yeah, you knew them so well. You knew where their marks were.
Yeah.
Their scars on their bodies. So, yeah.
So, you know, a few years ago, with COVID, actually developed a character on group, Uncle Cliffy.
Oh, that's where it comes. Yeah,
So Uncle Cliffy is based on a combination of my dad and his brother.
Right.
So the funny side of Uncle Cliffy comes in with my uncle. He's that Timaka uncle.
Is it? Yeah.
Hij rijdt rond met de bottle 3 ships in die boot. Hij is that uncle, man. And my father's also brings that, you know. So the combination of the two of them. And then someone said, oh my word, you are copying Buta Joe. And I said, you know, guys, you know,
It's an inspiration.
it is an inspiration, but also these people live in our lives.
Yeah.
We know these people.
Saying to David the other day, the one great thing about what it is we do and where we get it from, the place we get it from, nobody owns it.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
It's
True.
It's creativity.
Yeah.
Only God is the boss of that. Yeah.
And I see it as an ode to the people in our lives, the barbers in our lives, the uncles in our lives. It's an ode to them. It's what do they say about
That's very true.
the sincerest form of
Flattery?
flattery is impersonation or something like that. That's what it is. Eh?
yes.
And it's just like, I love my uncle to death, man.
Yeah.
And I wanted to put him into a character, you know?
You know, Carl, you're hitting something, you're hitting another nerve there with the thing on acting. Some of the first acting that people do is imitation.
Yeah.
I mean, we imitate our parents.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Can-
So
yeah.
who owns that concept? No one owns that concept. You know?
It's a natural thing that happens.
You know, and my uncle, there was a actual thing that I put in my show that actually happened. I already went to see the doctor. He's in his 60s, right? And he came back from the doctor upset, and his wife, Auntie Doreen. I said, Auntie Doreen, where's Uncle Cliffy? Hoe your uncle's baie kwaad. He's baie upset. He said, die doctor was on beskof met hom. So I go to the room, I say, he went to the doctor to find out about having his tubes tied. At 63, he wanted to have his tubes tied. I go in the room, I say, Uncle Cliffy, en nou, wat gaan nou aan? Nee, dokter's on beskof, he's on beskof met een mens. I say, what happened? You went to go find out about having your tubes tied. Yeah, he's on beskof. I said, what did the doctor say to you? Hey, I say, vasectomy. So I said, what did you say? So I say, vasectomy you or something, you know. So, and that really happened, you know. So I thought I'll be robbing the world. Uncle Cliffy, my uncle, at the 21st of my cousin one day, he was lekker drunk and he was eating kebabs. And I see him eat it halfway and he throws it away. And he takes another one, eats it halfway, throws it away. I say, Uncle Cliffy, why are you wasting the kebabs? He said, no, I eat the first 2, 3, then the stocky crap me kill you because he's eating it like this and not like that. So, you know, it pokes him in the back of the throat. I said, nah, man, I show you, they say, yo, man. So these are things that I'll be robbing the world of Uncle Cliffy if I didn't tell you these stories.
Yeah.
But yeah,
like I say, people get inspired.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
Yeah.
I mean, you've inspired such a huge generation. I still see Joe Bob on TikTok. You've inspired a new generation of entertainers.
And that's not us, by the way, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
So I don't want to give away too much. I don't know what's happening in the future. Hopefully you guys make a comeback.
Yeah.
Everybody would love it.
Yes, we will do. People are not leaving us alone. They want the show. So there is, whenever they ask, we hopefully we can
You know,
answer them.
there's an old school rap saying, I'll put it in terms of Joe Barber, you know, we people of Joe Barber will never die, just multiply. You check. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. One more time, this is the man, the legend, the myth, and all of the above, Mr. Oscar Peterson. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for joining
Can I
us.
just, on closing, I would just like to say, thanks for coming out. It's not just the interview. It's for us. It's archiving.
Yeah, absolutely.
And your career, I want to put it this way: it's not just you finding a job and doing a job, but it's representation matters, man.
Yes.
And there's a community that some people feel is not being seen and. But thank you for doing you, man, and for all the movies and all the roles. It's not just for you. It's not just for Ocean View. It's for all of us, really, man.
Absolutely.
To say, nah, that's Osman. I represent for Osman. You know what I'm saying? And thanks for being a positive influence, really, and a positive energy in that sphere. Because you could have chosen to just make movies. Grapjas, you know what I'm saying, but you do it from an authentic place, and it's something really to be proud of. And thanks for coming out. I really do appreciate it, man.
My absolute pleasure.
I couldn't have said it better, Oscar. Thank you so much. As Dental said, absolute inspiration. Everyone watching you saw it in the comments. Guys, that's the show. Thank you so much. Closing words, parting words, words of wisdom.
I don't want to.
I put you on the spot because I knew you were going to do that. Listen, I hope you get onto a stand-up comedy stage one day. Maybe we do a show together, man, or something, something like that.
Yeah, that's always keen.
Joe Barber and Carl Weber. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. That is the Carl Weber Show. One more time, Mr. Oscar Peterson. Thank you very much for joining me, sir.
Thank you, God. Thank you.